Hello and welcome back for another episode of Hollow Knight. Last time I finished off Pantheon 4, the Pantheon of the Night. Now I'm scrolling through the trophies that are left. I'm going for 112%. Embrace the Void, which will be if I can beat Pantheon 5. And then higher up, there are 2 trophies that have to do with the Hunter. So that's a total of 4 trophies that are left before I can get the Platinum, which now I'm closer than I've ever been, obviously. The last one we got was the one for beating Pantheon of the Night. And that unlocked this place up here that I haven't been to yet at this point. Now, me talking right now, I'm in the editing room after the fact. I did do a live recording of this, but my audio cuts out the whole time, so I'm replacing it with what you're hearing now. I've got the game audio, of course, that's real, but my voiceover, just my mic was cutting out or something, so it's bad. So I was wondering if this thing did any more stuff, and just kind of exploring. But what we're ready to do is actually go try Pantheon 5. And this was sort of late on a Saturday night, and actually it was right after I finished Pantheon 4. And so I wasn't really going to take this too seriously. I wasn't looking to go hard and rage and whatever trying on Pantheon 5 at this point. I just wanted to try it and see what it was about, see how far I could get, and how easy it was to try to go about it. So let's jump into where I'm actually going into it. Okay, here we go. I'm ascending, jumping up the wall to actually go towards where you start Pantheon of Hallownest. I went ahead and filled up. Of course, this doesn't stay with you when you actually start it. And it took me a while to figure out what I was supposed to do here. It's like I can just almost get there normally, but hey, there we go. So, ended up getting up there. I actually remembered it taking longer to figure that out than it actually did, apparently. So that's good. Then out of curiosity, I look over here. Oh, look at that. Yeah. The wall is broken, so that's an easier way up than making that ridiculous jump. I don't know if I actually did it the way you're supposed to, but I don't know how else you would do it. So then I figured out, oh, it just comes all the way back down. So here at this point, we're actually coming back up. We're done kind of exploring all the way around it. Ooh, and here it is, unlocking. And now instead of challenge, it says ascend. That was really interesting to notice. Pantheon of Hallownest. Alright, so this is my first ever attempt at the Pantheon. So I figure, like, maybe we'll want to see this. I hope this is entertaining. So, of course, the difference immediately noticeable here is before we fought Vengefly King, and it was just 1. Now in Pantheon of Hallownest, it's 2. And it's still usually pretty easy. I'm speaking now from experience of having grinded it quite a bit. So, yeah, it's still pretty easy, but it's annoying just sort of how long this one takes. Especially when you're just trying to get started and run into this Pantheon and you gotta deal with this stuff. where it's really not in your control how fast it can go. So eventually, I'm gonna off this guy. Man, and he is really spamming the summoning the little guys and not attacking. And then as I complain about it, of course, I get hit. I'm sure that happened actually when I was live recording it, and now I've just done it again. Okay, he finally goes down. And my controller is gonna die. Alright, next we have, as Fireborn would say, Gru's mother. I always said Gru's mother, but at this point I've watched a lot of other people's, you know, actual real YouTubers Hollow Knight content. So I've heard people say Gru's mother. How do you pronounce it? Let me know in the comments. Are you a Gru's person or a Gru's person? So this one can go a little faster, but yeah, it's still kind of a slow fight for me. I know, like, I've seen some people do some crazy stuff at this point, because I've after this I did a lot of grinding and ended up watching some guides and things just to get ideas. Whenever I've watched a guide for this game, I never end up following it exactly. I kind of take inspiration from it, but generally it's still sort of just helping me and not actually all the way what I end up doing. But a lot of the time there's an insight you can get, like, hey, you can specifically punish a certain move or avoid this move a certain way, or make a little something easier on yourself even if you're not doing exactly what they do. I never did this fight to its, I think, fullest potential. You can knock those falling rocks into him, and people made that really work for them, and I never really got that to go right. Even still, as I've done some grinding on this. Yeah. I'm not too worried about this fight, obviously, because it is just original False Knight. Once you have the dash, it's super easy to do regular old False Knight. There he goes. He is now dead. See ya. Alright, massive Moss Charger. I was surprised to see, of course we've already seen this guy in a previous Pantheon, but like, I was surprised at how many bosses that are in these Pantheons actually, like, were able to count as bosses to be in them. Like, I don't think I would have expected or even remembered Massive Moss Charger. I don't think I expected to see him in the Pantheons. Or Vengefly King, because I don't think Vengefly King, when you encounter him in the game, I think that's when you first meet Zote. It doesn't even come up with his name, you know? It's just like, here's an enemy that you have to fight. But he ends up counting as a boss, of course, for the Pantheons. So it was a wholly interesting experience just working on the Pantheons so far, of course. Hornet, I'm not too worried about. And my playstyle for these has changed. I did make some changes to my, like, loadout and strategy for Pantheon of Hallownest as I kind of warmed up to it and did a bunch of grinding on it. As you can see here on my first attempt, it's very slow. It's not just slow because of stuff like Vengefly King kind of naturally taking forever unless I use a bunch of spells and crazy jumps and stuff. It's like, you know, I am being pretty cautious, I guess, as you can see here. Because I do want it to be a good attempt, even though it's the first one and I'm trying not to take it too seriously. But we're going to end up seeing that these first, like, several bosses, I end up being, not here, but I end up in later attempts, like, just being, like, really, what looks like reckless with them, because they're pretty easy to deal with. If I'm taking a lot of hits because I'm just not thinking or playing well, then it's pretty easy to turn it back around, usually. Mischief beyond mischief. We cannot escape thee even in this highest, most distant of pantheons. O wielder of nail, O eater of soul, are thee a messenger of the gods or something stranger? We will not defy thee. Continue thy combat. We shall be listening closely. Okay, next we end up having Old Gorb. Yep, and I take Gorb pretty slow, I guess. Gorb is one that's frustrating to me because I can only do it so fast. Because I just end up falling if I try to do it too quickly. Oh, and I wasn't ready for the double spike there. These dream bosses that end up having, you know, holes in the floor to fall in specifically Pantheon of Hallownest. Very annoying, not a big fan. That's my big takeaway from them. Is like, they were fine, you know, they were okay before. They weren't anything crazy, so I guess it does add a fair bit of challenge and keeps you on your toes to make there be like platforms you can fall off for these types of bosses, but not a big fan. It especially isn't fun when you've gotten further in the Pantheon and then died and you're doing it over again. And then it feels like a real big waste of time. Now, I didn't know at this point, I don't think, that you can, when Dung Defender goes underground, you can do a Descending Dark and force him out. So that is something I try later on in my grinding, but I wasn't aware of it or didn't know just what it would be like at this point. But Dung Defender has become really not a big deal. From getting to practice him for other Pantheons, I kind of figured him out finally. He's one that I end up knowing that I should just kind of wail on as much as possible. He's not too big of a threat. Soul Warrior is pretty standard. Also not a big challenge at this point anymore. He's one that I think I rather enjoy doing Soul Warrior. Like, I really hate the beginning bosses of Pantheon of Hallownest. Just because I think they take too long and they're just in your way, you know, as you're trying to ramp up for another attempt and whatever. But Soul Warrior, I think, can be fun, because I can end up getting in sort of a flow state with Soul Warrior. Just like the repetition of, like, kill the ghost blob boy, hit him, repeat, dodge him, you know, maybe style on him a little bit if I can. Now he's also a little bit frustrating because a lot of the time you can just get one hit on him at a time. Once you hit him, he's probably going to teleport away. but he doesn't take too terribly long. I've definitely gotten better at brooding Malik. Here I'm doing okay, but I think I got it down to more of a science so far in my grind. Yep, don't have too much to say about that one. Sharp Shadow makes it really easy because you get a little extra distance on your Shadow Dash. It makes it a lot easier to just dash all the way through the Malik, especially when it's doing that big rain of infection blobs on you, and you need to get to the other side. Sharp Shadow makes that really easy. I don't do these guys perfectly, but it is better than when I first fought them in the first Pantheon, I think. Essentially, my strategy that I've stayed with is like get on one side of the map, but as long as I can remember to, sometimes I just forget and then have to remind myself in the middle of the fight, but stay on the side of the map that I'm on, unless it just seems like I really need to get to the other side, and then try to come towards the middle as much as possible so that they're not cornering me too terribly much. And then, of course, watch out for when they do a charge attack of some sort. You know, one of them does the, what's it called? Dash slash, and the other one does the spin move. And so basically, if you know which one is which based on, like, is he charging at the edge of the arena, or is he charging somewhere in the middle? If it's somewhere in the middle, then you know it's the spin. And if it's the edge, you know it's going to be a dash. Oof. Am I going to clutch it? No. Okay. So I immediately went in for another attempt, and I got to this point again. Nothing really different happened in the previous fights. Got here again. I just did a better job of not getting hit so much in this fight. So we ended up getting, in the second attempt, to go on past Oro and Mado. Now here you can see I'm using Sharp Shadow, Mark of Pride, Unbreakable Strength, and Quick Focus. I've seen other people, like Relia, he uses, in basically any video of his that I watched, trying to prepare for these, he was using Shaman Stone, where I'm instead using Quick Focus. I just don't usually use magic attacks that much anyway. It's just like not how I've wired my brain to strategize about these fights. Especially not, you know, in these first few attempts at Pantheon 5. I had not really ever put much thought into really relying on those moves. So I didn't really think I needed Shaman Stone. So I know at this point I need to come back and probably practice this guy, Zero. Yep, he's got me on the ropes here. I just cannot even get a hit on him at this point. Desperately just trying to heal. I'm trying to do what I can at this point to just make it as good of an attempt as it can possibly be at this point. It's not looking good, obviously. Dang, so clearly I made it harder on myself by standing still, right? Shoo. It's way easier to do this fight, I've learned, if you just, like, move. That's half the problem, is I'm not moving there as I try to, like, heal up and stuff. Okay, so the main thing to say between this point and the end is, like, wow, I spent a long time grinding. So I spent a long time just going into the Pantheon, seeing how far I could get, seeing what I noticed gave me trouble, and then going back and practicing those individual bosses. And of course, spoiler, probably not a spoiler for you, but the final boss of Pantheon 5 is something everybody really needs to practice on its own, probably before unless they're just a god, but, you know, they need to practice it. I certainly had to practice it quite a bit on my own, or on my own, of course, off camera, and by itself in the Hall of Gods here. And shoo, like that one, and also ones in the meantime before you ever get there that still gave me trouble of note. Of course, there's stinking Markoth, right? Zero ended up being just fine, just super easy, not even barely an inconvenience. Markoth was really awful, and I'll talk more about him later. Zote is still a dang menace in this Pantheon. Markoth and Zote. Off the top of my head right now, not looking at anything, just recording in front of my computer. I think they're pretty close together in the Pantheon. It's like Markoth, Zote, Failed Champion can be tough as well. And then there's like Nightmare King Grimm. Now he's one that I had not done yet at all. Of course, we didn't fight him in the main game because we went the banishment route instead of the other possible ending of the Grimm Troop story where you could fight Nightmare King Grimm. So I was pretty much able to skip him because that seemed like the ending that I would rather have. And of course, then we got to meet our boy Nim, right? Who played the accordion bug thing. So I was happy with that choice. But, dang, Nightmare King is tough. That's all I have to say. He would have been tough as well in the main game in that DLC story, but shoo-wee, he is tough here. And he's the, like, third to last boss of the Pantheon. So all of those bosses I just mentioned, plus still Pure Vessel. Pure Vessel, like, if I'm not ready, like, he's always tough. So I had to practice all those guys quite a bit. And then there's the final boss, right? And man, just in grinding this Pantheon for so many hours, I don't know. If you've caught, like, my playtime, you can probably tell that I spent, in total for all the Pantheons, I'm guessing. Now, I haven't even really figured out exactly how much time I spent just on working Pantheons. But, man, I must have spent like 60 hours doing this stuff. Now, some of that was like time wasted. Some of that was I'm not even playing, I'm, talking on the phone, I'm doing something else, and the game is running. But my in-game time ended up being like an extra 60 or more hours from Pantheon stuff. And I'm sure it was like an extra 20 or more hours for just Pantheon 5. And so, included within that 60. And so, yeah, this was tough. This was real tough. And so, I had some high highs and some low lows in my grind to try to finish up Pantheon 5. So what I've been playing on the screen while I've been talking here for the past couple minutes is my first time beating, just in practice, just in Hall of Gods practice, first time beating Nightmare King Grim, right? So, man, this fight is really something. And I'll get into sort of my strategy when I'm talking about the whole Pantheon, but shoot, man, like, this is a tough fight, but it's also really rewarding. This is the fight that it feels maybe the best for me to actually do well in, because it really is just a dance, a duel between the two of you. It's the regular fight, but like cranked up to 11 or whatever, a higher level, whatever you want to say. I really like the Nightmare King Grim fight, but dang, like, upon my first try of it, which I just didn't think to record my first try of it, but on my first try, I thought, like, this is it, like, this fight is impossible. And so eventually it became possible, but man, like, most of that battle was just figuring out, like, what even I'm looking at. He moves so fast and he does so many different things. So it was a lot of learning, like, what even is he doing when I see it, training my brain to recognize things fast enough to do anything about it, and then also, like, learning what not to do. There are a lot of things that you should not do in that fight that I'll probably talk about later. So anyway, did I beat Pantheon of Hallownest? Well, we'll have to find out in the next episode. Thank you for being here, and just kidding. So, let's find out together. Of course, I already know what happened, but I'm going to explain to you my strategy for each boss that I ended up figuring out, and we'll see a full view of what was the last attempt I did of Pantheon 5, and a little bit of the second to last attempt I did, and that will be inserted into the last attempt of Pantheon 5, because I think it flows best that way. But here we go. My last ever, I'm never attempting it again, run of Pantheon 5. So you saw me equip my charms, and you probably saw a glimpse of what I'll end up using as we get close to the end of the Pantheon. But right now I have on Quick Focus, Unbreakable Strength, Quick Slash, and Long Nail. Of course, Quick Focus lets me heal faster, so I can be a lot more aggressive and really just do these first very many fights as quick as I can, be really aggressive and not worry about taking hits all the time. I've got Unbreakable Strength. I don't think there's a time where I ever don't have Unbreakable Strength on. It's really awesome. It is a 50% boost to my nail damage. It just doesn't work for, like, nail arts and stuff like that. But yeah, that means that the damage you would normally do in 3 hits, you can do in 2 hits. Mathematically, that's kind of what that means. Also, I've got Quick Slash, so I can hit guys way faster, so that's even more damage. That's like a DPS type thing. I can just hopefully kill these bosses faster, except stinking Gru's mother here, or Gru's mother, which still ends up taking a while, but that was a pretty okay run right there. Also, I need Long Nail just to give me a little extra distance. I like having more than just the standard normal unbuffed length of a nail. So the first two bosses, I didn't do anything special with those. I just kind of get rid of them as quick as I can. Here's False Knight, and False Knight is where things kind of get interesting. So as you can see there, I just basically was spamming him every chance I got, just absolutely spamming with Quick Slash. Like when he's doing his tantrum, I could pretty much always not get hit and stagger him again when he was doing his back and forth slam. Massive Moss Charger, for my strategy for this one is this right here. So I saw somebody doing this on YouTube, which confirmed to me that it was possible. So yeah, you can just spam him as long as your rhythm is correct, as long as you're doing exactly the correct little wait time before slashing him to keep him from getting too far away to hit him again, or also to keep him from getting too close. You can just keep hitting him like that and basically stun lock him. So that was a lot of fun. I was really happy with that I figured out how to do Massive Moss Charger that well. Hornet is just very easy. I just spam her as fast as I can as well. Especially Hornet 1. She just doesn't do enough stuff to like really hurt me faster than I can kill her. So very easy there. For Gorb, I'm not doing anything that out of the ordinary from how I started. I'm just trying to go quick here. Of course, we're watching currently the last run I ever attempt of Pantheon 5. The previous run did not go well, and when the time comes, I'll show you the previous run, or the important part of the previous run. It didn't go well, so I'm playing kind of angry and aggressive right now. So Gorb didn't take that long, I guess. So now here comes Dung Defender. I love Dung Defender, but he needs to hurry up and get out of my way. So, Quick Slash, again, just, I wasn't using it before when we saw Dung Defender in this episode, but I'm certainly using it now, and I'm just trying to hit him as much as I can, as quick as I can, and I'm using Descending Dark to knock him out of the ground, and he goes down pretty easy, with all those things considered. Next we've got Soul Warrior. And again, the frustrating thing about him, he's not doing it right now, but he can get in a mode where just every time you hit him, he's going to teleport. Every single time you hit him. Now, unless he wants to hit you, in which case, like, you can keep hitting him until he's going to hit you. Boom. There we go. Soul Warrior, very quick, not very nice looking either, but very quick. Brooding Moloch is one that in my grinding of this Pantheon, sometimes Brooding Moloch would be really frustrating because it just wouldn't do what I wanted it to do. Or I would just make a silly mistake like that. But with that Quick Slash, Quick Slash is the MVP. Like, I'm getting through these bosses very quickly because, you know, they're just not, they're really not built, you know, in the main game for you to be spamming them down so much. It's certainly not what I think most people do, you know, on their first time dealing with a boss or learning the boss. For these guys, it's about the same. I'm trying to stay on the side, just not get hit, and not be too close to the edge to where I don't have anywhere to go back to. But if I am, then I can usually make it out just fine, and they'll just happen to not hit me. And then when they're standing still, I'm making a lot of use of Quick Slash to hurry up and get as many hits as I can on them. And they are really not a big deal in this Pantheon unless I'm just taking a lot of hits and not doing well. So as long as I'm not playing bad, I don't even have to be playing that well, but at this point, as long as I'm not playing bad, they're fine. That was a silly mistake, running into the spin move there. But pretty easy. Close them out pretty okay right there, I think. And I know eventually, like, you figure out, like, exactly when you're going to get a rest stop as the next thing, so then you can go all out with a boss and not worry about, like, having health left over for the next one or anything, because you're going to get to rest. So for Zero, of course we saw earlier inserted my no-hit attempt of Zero. But this is not one of those. I'm just trying to get rid of him as quick as I can. And I am using magic attacks because it just helps. It just helps deal with him quicker, because his movement can make things take a long time. So here is the evolution of what we saw last episode for Pantheon 4 with Enraged Guardian, but it also applies to Crystal Guardian, where I'm just like spamming him, dodge through him when he tries to shoot the laser at me, keep spamming him. It becomes even more effective, of course, with Quick Slash. And then Soul Master I liked because it's just really easy at this point. Throwback to the episode where I rage quit from Soul Master in the main game. Shoo, that was so long ago, it feels like. It was quite a while ago in real time as these videos are coming out, of course. But, man, it feels like quite a while ago. And, yeah, not much else to say about him. Some people, like, get in his, when the orbs are spinning around him right there, some people get in that and, like, hit him and dash and hit him again, or do an abyss shriek or whatever. I really just kind of hit him once and get out of there. I never bothered to learn anything more fancy, really. And here I'm just trying to get him out as quick as I can. And in theory, I should juke those orbs into the ground, but I just didn't do a good job of that there. I did fine damage to him, though, I think. Yeah, just 2 more hits and he's down. Great. That's a pretty good run of Soul Master for me. Oblobbles. Now here is where my plan to go as quick as possible sometimes gets a little scary. Because, shoo, these guys sometimes just feel like they are aimbotting you to death, and it can be hard to sneak in a heal here and there sometimes. But you just gotta go on and go for the heal. But they're one of the harder ones for my strategy currently, which is spam the boss, don't worry about taking damage, and just heal through the damage. Yeah, they make it a little more difficult, this boss, but it's okay. They're not that big of a deal. The real strategy, if I'm being careful with them, is to, like, count how many times I hit them and keep them equal. So then when one goes down, the other will go down pretty soon after that. Now, I really love this one. this, I don't think we're gonna get like my best run ever of this fight here, but I really like this, you know, upgraded version of the Mantis Lords, and the first time it was like really a trip. Yep. Instead of Mantis Lords, it is now Sisters of Battle. So really awesome, like you get to fight all three of them. So it's really just the way that this fight was meant to be. Or at least I think that's what I would say most people say once they are actually ready for this fight is, oh wow, that's like how it should have been. This is the true definitive version of this fight. And it really is just really cool, and they have such a good pattern that you can anticipate. Now, I don't always do it really well, but if you can do this fight perfectly, it is so satisfying. Like just knowing that they're going to come down in sequence like they just did there, or when you dodge one, just to be ready for there to be another one immediately. Then once you get one down, it becomes pretty normal. And I'm trying, of course, with Quick Slash to get 2 hits as often as I can to just make it go a little faster. You know, the quicker they die, the less opportunity there is for me to mess up somehow. Like that. That was goofy. Yep, here I'm just goofing up for no reason. Also, when you first fight them, or when I first fought them, I'm not sure how different it can be than what happened to me fighting them in the main game. When I first fought them, of course, I didn't have a double jump, I didn't have the shadow dash or anything like that, so it's a lot easier to deal with their attacks. I also didn't know when I first fought them that you could do a down slash, that you could pogo on the rings that they throw. That would have made that a lot easier to a degree. Marmu is annoying. I have not, just so everybody knows, I have not and will not be attempting Marmu on Radiant difficulty, where you die in one hit. I'm not doing that. I have no interest in doing all the bosses Radiant or anything like that. But especially not Marmu. But Marmu is fine. So my strategy that I figured out for Fluke Marm is that it's really easy, since it's constantly, like, it will never stop as long as it's alive, spawning these, whatever they are, whatever they're called, the little fluke things. I don't know what they're called. The things with teeth that chase you, these things. It's never going to stop spawning them as long as it's alive. So you can use those to end this fight with full soul if you want to. But also I can use them to make sure that I have full health at the end, just by sitting and killing them over and over and not even worrying about the boss. But for speed's sake, I kill enough to have an Abyss Shriek and then go Abyss Shriek the boss once or twice or 3 times or something. And usually that will catch whatever things it spawns that are headed for me right then. But yeah. That's how I would deal with Fluke Marm. Broken Vessel is just a lot of fun. Once we get to Lost Kin, I'll talk about what I figured out for Broken Vessel and Lost Kin. I did a full 180 on my opinion of the 2 of them. Galien, in theory, really easy, but if I'm not careful, I can die here because I'm that dumb. But yeah, just again, Quick Slash, just hitting him as much as possible. Do a couple Abyss Shrieks in there. Pretty alright fight. Shio is also made quicker with Quick Slash. I'm just once I have an opportunity to get up to him, I'm just spamming him. Now here, I think I'm doing a better job of dodging his stuff than we've seen from me previously. I hope you agree. And there, I just wasn't really worried about it, obviously. Because he moves so slow at this point, like, with how fast I'm hitting him, it's a pretty good balance of, or not balance. It's pretty imbalanced in my favor, right? I can hit him so fast that, you know, he can't hit me fast enough to kill me first, basically. Hive Knight was annoying before in Pantheon 3, I believe. He's still annoying now, but basically, I just spam him down even faster. Like, as you can see here, it's nice if I can avoid things hitting me, but my main goal is just absolutely destroy him, spam him to death with Quick Slash. And it's really not hard. You're probably sensing a common theme here, which is, for all these bosses, I'm trying my best to just spam them with Quick Slash and get them done as quick as possible, which works most of the time. Yep, grinding this Pantheon in particular just made me a more aggressive fighter than you've ever seen me be over the course of this whole Hollow Knight playthrough. So I hope you like what you have helped create, which is a maniac who just spams Quick Slash. Now, the Collector is still really annoying. I hate the Collector. There were a few times where I died on Collector, and that just, like, I was just being dumb and rushing. And just not thinking. Like, this fight goes pretty fast without having to rush and not think. But stuff like this, where I just take hits over and over to the falling jars or whatever. But, you know, that didn't happen enough here to make a difference. Now, I don't remember how I'm going to do this fight, so we'll find out together. Okay. Yep, so I ended up figuring out, I didn't know if I would do it so soon here. But ended up figuring out, like, that basically when the beast is in ball form, of course he's homing in on your last location after he bounces off the wall. So then if I scoot just to the side of that, then I can get several hits on him with Quick Slash. And so that made that pretty easy. God Tamer is definitely one where before it didn't feel like I had any control over the fight, and it's because I was being too passive and trying to play just too defensively and not taking opportunities that were given to me to damage the beast. And now here's one of my favorites again, because I just always know what to expect from this fight here. I don't always do it exactly right, but I'm pretty confident about this Grim fight, even if I'm being silly and taking some damage here. I think I thought that I had another Abyss Shriek ready, which is really hard for me to say, Abyss Shriek. I can never say that very quickly. But yeah, Grim is my boy. I'm pretty good at fighting Grim. Here I'm just being dumb and getting hit by those fire bat things. Got a few hits on him there. That was pretty good. Oh, quick slash. He's one that it's hard to get too many hits on. But you can damage him with Abyss Shriek when he's in this heart form. I guess he's in the form of a beating heart there. I don't know how much I've said it in this playthrough, but I always thought about that as the strawberry form. I've probably said that at least once by now. I can't remember. Alright, and then he goes down pretty easily. I like Grim, because I'm just confident enough at Grim that I feel like just when I need to not get hit, if I'm low on health, I don't have to. And then, same principle as some other bosses so far, is he probably can't kill me fast enough for me to worry about whatever damage I might take by being a little bit reckless. So now I've taken off Long Nail and Quick Slash. I've replaced Long Nail directly, basically, with Mark of Pride, and then I put on Sharp Shadow, because I like having Sharp Shadow for Watcher Knight, and this is just what I ended up being comfortable with. It definitely makes it easier to dodge through the Watcher Knights when they're swinging. Like my strategy from before, it's basically about the same. It's like, I hope that they're going to swing their sword at me, and if they do, I want to dash through them and then hit them from the other side. Now, Quick Slash would be pretty good here as well. It would be a little more damage I could do to them while they're swinging. But, yeah, this is just what I was comfortable with for this and for later stuff that we'll get to soon. So I took off the beloved Quick Slash, so I'm no longer being as spammy of a player here. But Watcher Knights, I just feel like I'm in control more when I have Sharp Shadow on, so I did want to have that. I just hope that we can get some hits on these guys. At this point, they just want to roll and not swing. So that's a spot where Sharp Shadow is definitely useful. If all the damage I can get is from it, then at least I'm getting some damage. Okay, Watcher Knight's down with relative ease. Not too worried about them damaging me too much anymore. Ugh. And here comes Umu. Umu is kinda make or break. If I'm just really unlucky with Umu, I found him to be like, you know, kinda like he can sign my death warrant for this for this Pantheon. Especially just like the luck or not luck of these dumb jellyfish that you need to knock into him. Like, sometimes they just take forever to get into a good spot. I'm gonna try to knock this one and then curve it in, and that worked. And I don't know why that one hit me. I don't know what damaged that one to hit me. Made a silly mistake there of sliding down the wall while the lightning was chasing me. Finally got another jellyfish to hit. can't quite get up to him quick enough. And then got another one. That was pretty good. Sadly, I fell, but I'm doing okay on health right now. If we whack him, there he finally goes. And we can heal to almost full health. So that's a pretty good, for me, Umu run. I know some people just make it look incredibly easy. But it ain't for me. Okay, so here comes one that I unexpectedly, usually when there's like a different version of a boss than I'm used to, I don't like it. I actually prefer this one to the regular. I prefer Winged Nosk to like regular Nosk. Because, man, regular Nosk is just so hard for me to dodge and whatnot, and Winged Nosk is just more predictable to me. Let me know if you feel the same, for sure. Winged Nosk does have a ridiculous hitbox. Like, there's a full square that basically is all the way around him, it feels like. And so touching any part of that square, even if you're not physically, visibly touching him, will make you take damage, of course. But this fight is just more predictable, I think, and also provides opportunity to heal way better than the regular version, where he's just the regular spider and not a flying thing. Also, I like Sharp Shadow for this fight. Not just Watcher Knights, but also this one. Because sometimes I can't react fast enough to, like, jump up high enough to hit him without taking damage when he does that swoop in to try to get me. But I can always dash through him with Sharp Shadow. And then I'm avoiding damage and also damaging him, without having to like really jump and get over him, because it is a high jump you have to do. It's not just a little hop to get over him. Or you can double jump, and that's easier, but that's assuming that you have plenty of time, you weren't just healing, whatever. Also, he does that little shriek sound whenever he's about to swoop in like this. And that's really nice. I like that. I like that as a good tell. A good telegraph that he's about to do that move. Very helpful. So yeah, that's about it that I have to say about Winged Nosk. I'm just really happy that he's, I think, easier than regular Nosk. He's a lot easier to plan for. Alright, here comes Great Nail Sage Sly. So, I've already talked about previously what I thought about Great Nail Sage Sly. And I think he is a good fight. Now, at this point, I was way better at him than in Pantheon 3, when I first had to deal with him. So I am pretty happy with him, but it is still like I gotta be on my toes for this fight, because he can surprise me. Whenever he does like a charge attack or anything, like he might hit me when I don't think he should. That hitbox is insane. So here I'm trying to take opportunities to hit him, but like if he's getting the better of me, if he keeps hitting me, I know that I'm not above backing off and playing it a little more safe. It's going pretty well so far, though. Like right there. I don't think I thought I would get hit by that, but I sure did. Alright, and the phase 2, like, Sly is just such a cool boss. He's really stinking hard when you are just getting used to him or fighting him for the first few times, but he is a really cool boss. Also, definitely Mark of Pride helps here during phase 2 of Sly, because heading back towards him after he does this spin attack, it can be really hard to reach him before he starts zooming back to the side to come at you again. But with an enhanced length of nail, that's not such an issue. And then you can dream nail him, of course, to get some extra soul. So here for Hornet, I'm gonna treat her very similar to Hornet 1. This is Hornet 2, of course. And so my goal is just to keep hitting her as fast as I can. I am gonna heal though, because this is a more risky fight to try to do quickly. And man, like, I don't know, she's nowhere near as difficult now as she really seemed in the game. Like when you have to fight her to get like the King's Mark, I believe, in the main game. I just remember that being so hard, and her just putting these spikes all over the map all the time. It has just seemed a lot more manageable. And there she is. She's down. And also, this is a fight that is right before a hot spring rest zone. So I'm not too scared to end the fight with low health either. So now I'm switched back, and I've got Quick Slash and Long Nail again. And now it's starting to set in that maybe, and this is where it sets in for me about every time, every attempt, is like, hey, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the winning attempt, who knows? And right there, the same as with Crystal Regular Guardian, just spam him with Quick Slash. Now we're on Lost Kin, so what I say here goes for Broken Vessel as well. My attitude about Lost Kin has changed, I'm happy to say. I am no longer stuck in here with Lost Kin. Lost Kin is stuck in here with me, baby. Alright? I am just taking him aggressively whenever I try him at this point, and he is trying to get rid of me. He is trying to get away. Look at this. No longer is he jumping directly on me. Sometimes he'll jump to get away from me. Not right here. But as you can see, my strategy for Lost Kin is the same as any other dang boss in this Pantheon so far. Spam him to death. He is not ready for that. Truly, in a lot of my practice for him, that just made him freak out and have to get away from me. Now, No Eyes is very goofy, very tense. Obviously, this is the, like, ascendant version of her. This is the arena you fight her in for the ascendant difficulty, or ascended difficulty in the Hall of Gods. So this is not what you're used to from previous fights with her by any means. And there's far less safety, as you can probably see here. So at this point I was getting like really nervous, like, am I really going to lose now to stinking No Eyes? That was a good pogo I got right there. Shoo. So we finish off No Eyes, and we've got 2 HP, or 2 HP missing rather. And And that's okay, because here's Traitor Lord. Now, Traitor Lord is one that I really enjoy now because of Quick Slash. I'm making some dumb mistakes, but it really doesn't matter. So obviously my strategy for Traitor Lord, I think I've said it before, is like I'm just staying on top of him, hitting him as much as I can, and then like if he's going to do the rush forward, then I'm dashing through him. And if he's going to do the jump, like he'll jump up and over me and then slam down. Well, he jumps up and over me if I'm right on top of him. So I try to stay right there, right next to him, and then he won't hit me. And I just stand there, he goes to the other side of me, and I keep wailing on him and repeat. The only thing that messes that up is the shockwaves he sends out, that you just have to be ready to get away from him and dodge. You got to get away from him so that you don't dodge into him, which you will do if you're too close when he does that. And then, with as close as I am to him, he never does the, like, orange ring throw. He never does that, because I'm never far enough away for him to want to do that. Now, I thought somebody said that you can't do the Descending Dark to knock White Defender out of the ground. I'm not sure if I heard that or made that up, but that's why I didn't try that here. Maybe you can still do that. Now here is where I change my loadout again. We're using Shaman Stone for once and Long Nail. Shaman Stone is for specifically one boss. And you can probably guess who already if you've tried to do this. It is not Soul Tyrant. Of course, as a reminder for anybody who might be watching uninitiated, just in case. I assume most people who are watching have already had their fair share of playing this game. But Shaman Stone strengthens the magic attacks. So I'm going to use that specifically for a boss that's coming up. So, Soul Tyrant, I really treat him about the same as Soul Master. He's just a tougher version. That's really all he is. So I like that he is, I think I've said before that I like how similar he is. Yeah, I do. So I try to just jump into the gap in that 6 orb shape there and hit him and then dash out, and hopefully the dash will help me avoid taking any damage. And then standing directly in the middle here is a safe spot to heal once those orbs come back the other way after he's disappeared. Standing right in the middle, it's always safe to heal right there. Assuming that you can get the heal off fast enough before something else starts happening. But you're not going to take damage from the orbs in that spot. So something that I am keeping in mind here is I think the next boss is the problem boss, right? So I had to make sure that I got out of this fight with as much soul as possible and definitely as much health as possible. So I really wanted to not take damage here at the end so I wouldn't have to heal. But I've still got, once this refills right here, I've still got the full, like, main soul vessel full of soul for Markoth. Now, Markoth is the run killer, for sure. And I know I'm not alone when I say that. Let me know if you also hate Markoth. Let me know how many of your runs, personally, Markoth has ended. So the strategy for Markoth, he is completely, I've learned, like, his movements are pretty much random. And just there's so much randomness to his fight that it's really hard to, like, plan out what you're going to do. So my strategy is wait for the shield to get far enough away from him when he's spinning, and then go pogo on him a couple times, hope it doesn't hit me, then shadow dash out to make sure I don't take damage as it gets closer again, and just keep repeating that. So Unbreakable Strength, of course, is helping me because I'm getting nail hits on him. Now is when Shaman Stone really matters. I've got Shaman Stone entirely for the purpose right now of closing out phase 2 of Markoth, because he is just so hard. It's so hard to get in and hit him at this point without shooting stuff at him like that, without Abyss, Shrieking, or just using the empowered, like, Vengeful Spirit shot like that. So it's at this point that I'm getting real nervous. I'm like, okay, that actually went well. Just like last time on my previous attempt, it also went well. Yeah, we're still not caught up with how far I got in my previous attempt that I did just a little before trying this run that we're currently watching. So yeah, so I'm like, oh man, here we are again. Like, I'm past Markoth. And of course, right after Markoth is dang Zote, right? Now, I did get better at Zote. He's already staggered here. I've gotten better at him. And one thing I had to get better at for him is watch out for just when he starts running at you. Like, when he does that, I'm trying to be ready to just dash through him, because it's so easy for him to just start doing that, and like I don't expect it half the time, and then he damages me. Like right here. I wasn't ready for it. Now he's staggered, so I'm trying to get a heal off. I got 2 and lost 1. Not a huge deal. So I know at this point I'm doing really well to just still be alive this far into this fight and have as much health as I do. And there he goes. Wow, I didn't know that would kill him, but I'm glad it did, of course. Shoo. Zote is still, he can still be a run killer. And then right after him, you gotta be careful for Failed Champion, because Failed Champion, the problem with him is he doesn't have like an intro animation. He just comes in and starts going, and it's very often that I'm not ready for that. Now, I am implementing something very weenie of me, but I don't care, which is I ended up learning this during my grind, reading a wiki page. You can reset his stagger. So every time I'm hitting his armor here, I am entirely resetting his stagger timer, so I can get full soul. Then, since I already have Shaman Stone, boom, I can just spam him with the Vengeful Spirit thing, and then refill my soul again. And then I get behind him so that it's easier to just quickly hit his armor and not hit his face. I can refill my soul again, then hit his face to let him come out of stagger, and then spam him like this again. And then that staggers him again. Oh. And he's a run killer. So, hey, I do not feel bad about doing this. He's a run killer. I think there were 2 attempts that I did at Pantheon 5 where I got all the way to Failed Champion and he just ate me alive. So I do not feel bad about doing anything to him or abusing his AI in any way. Yeah, get out of here, Failed Champion. You're garbage. No one likes you, especially me. So now we are at the last 3 bosses of the run. Once you're past Failed Champion, it's just Nightmare King Grim, then Rest, then Pure Vessel, then the final boss. So I had to pause there, wipe off my hands, because here we go. Now, of course, it doesn't matter how I end this fight, as long as I win, because we do get to rest afterwards. So, I said before, I really like Nightmare King Grim, because he's really cool once you get used to it. When he does this attack, you're entirely in control. When those flames are coming up out of the floor following you, you're in control of where those show up. So all you have to do is just barely move forward, just to dodge them enough, and then you get to approach him like this, step by step. Then you can hit him a couple times, you can Abyss Shriek him, and so that's an attack I really like. When he does that punch and then uppercut into the air, it's best to just dash through him, and you'll probably 9 times out of 10 be clear of the falling flames that come afterwards. When he does this diagonal kick, I tried to be fancy sometimes and like pogo him when he comes down, and that was usually a bad idea. He would end up damaging me somehow, or I would just miss and run into him. So I would dash through the kick and then immediately have to jump, because he's going to do that just horizontal attack as well, and it's really fast. So I would just try to be in the air immediately as soon as I got through my dash, like right there. Whew, and he was just really trying to get me with that, which is an easy way. If he hits all that, it's an easy way for him to get like a bunch of HP out of me. Now, also, when these bats fly out, when he lifts up his cloak and the flame bats come out, that's like similar to a move that he did in the regular Grim fight. And now that he's in strawberry mode, I know that we've knocked off a fourth of his health, or another fourth of it. So that's still a way to keep track of how far we are in the fight. But back to what I was saying. When he does this attack right here, it's a different version. There's a low bat, a high one. You see right there, the pattern is like high, low, high, low. So I saw a lot of guides when I was trying to learn this fight, and they would say like, jump, do a dash through the middle of them, and then do an extra little double jump hop to get over the last one. You don't have to do that at all. All you gotta do is, when he launches those 4 bats, right here, you just go in, walk under the first one that is high, jump over the second one that's low, and then dash through. That's way easier than doing like the jump dash little hop pattern. Way easier. Yeah, see, look how easy that is. Wow. So you heard it here, maybe not first, but at some point, it's way easier than what some people do. Just walk in, jump, dash through. And then there he is. So it's a fight of just being patient and not playing into his hand, you know. You have to kind of play his game, but you don't have to get hit, as long as you just don't get greedy and keep reacting in the right way. Okay, now here is something I did end up seeing online, which is now I'm using Quick Focus, Unbreakable Strength, Deep Focus, and Grub Song. Now here, I didn't bother reading the dialogue because I wasn't sure that this would be a winning run or not. But I picked those charms because I still want Unbreakable Strength for my extra nail damage. I still want fast healing, but it's going to be slower. So right now my healing fast is combined with my healing 2 at a time. And that's not really for Pure Vessel. It is for what's after Pure Vessel, right? It's for Absolute Radiance. So we'll talk about that strategy once we get there. Yeah, something to note here is that I don't have any kind of nail length upgrade charm right now. So my nail is just the standard length and it's really short. So that is kind of hurting me in this fight, as we're gonna see. And this is not a fight that goes well. So you do get to see me kind of have to clutch something here. Fair warning. So I'm still trying to follow my strategy for Pure Vessel that I've already talked about in the last episode, which is like dash into the knives he throws, get him to stagger, get a heal off, hit him a couple times at once if I can, jump over his attacks where he rushes forward or does the triple slash, and you can tell the nerves are getting to him. What I should be doing is, when none of that other stuff is happening, I should be assuming that he is about to do the jump and slam down stab on me, and then the swords will come up out of the floor. I should be assuming that he's about to do that whenever he's not doing any of those other things. So in order to deal with that, what I do is jump away from wherever I last saw him. So especially when he's like off screen, I should be jumping away from where he was off screen. Because he's going to appear directly on top of me. So if I'm already moving, then I get to dodge that, and also I'll have time to get in between some swords that pop to the ground. Of course, now he's already doing the... this has been pretty quick to get to this point in the fight, really. Or it feels that way. He's doing the tendril attacks now, where he reaches out with the black tendrils. Shoo, and I'm just not doing a good job. So now I'm at 1 HP. I do that shot right there as a sort of a Hail Mary. I try to get a heal off and can't get it. I thought maybe I would just get lucky with that heal and he would just sit and do nothing for a second. Sometimes that happens. But man, just had to briefly not cave to the pressure here. Okay, so now we're at the point where the last run ended. So this is pretty far. This is the end. This is the last phase. This is the end of the Absolute Radiance fight right here. And in my previous attempt, see where I just fell off right there? That's very important. So this is the attempt before the one we've been watching, and I got all the way to the last phase of the last boss, and then I fell off the platform like a moron, and one more orb hit me, and I died. So then I just, of course, had to start basically just wailing, like audibly, like, no, that was it, that was it. And so my wife is like, are you okay? And all this stuff. I'm like, you have no idea what just happened. So I'm upset. I'm not mad. I'm just debilitated. I am crushed. I just can't believe that that just happened. And I got all the way there and then I died. You have to do so much across way too many phases for that boss. And I got all the way to the end and choked right there at the very end. So I was really not happy about that. But I knew after just a little break, we left home and we got drinks at Sonic and came back, and I said, I just want to do one more run. I think I can do it in one more run. And so then I did what we've already seen before this choke on Absolute Radiance. I did this whole run that we've just been watching, and then now we'll see my fight with Absolute Radiance from the run after the choke. So this fight is really the purpose for our current charm build. Our current charm build doesn't really help me that much with Pure Vessel. I really liked the charms that I had on when I fought him in Pantheon 4, but this charm build is going to help with the strategy that I decided to use that I did see on YouTube. So this is me trying to mostly execute what other people have done, or what a few people have done, I should say. And this is just a very, you know, a very like baby version of trying to do this fight with this charm build. So I've got the deep focus and quick focus, so that at moments like right here, I can reasonably quickly heal 2 health for the price, the soul price of 1 heal. So that's pretty good and important. Also, I've still got Unbreakable Strength. And then Grub Song, which will give me some extra soul whenever I take damage. So basically, I'm using a healing build, a healing and gaining soul build, plus doing some good nail damage, in order to just, whenever I take damage in this fight, I'm going to heal through it. I'm just going to heal after it. So now we're all ready to the sword rain, which is, I got to be pretty good at this, pretty good at being able to bop the radiance over and over again during that. Basically, when I'm trying to heal, mostly is when the beams come out. Like after she does the beam attack, this one right here, once this is over, that's a good time to heal, because there's usually some time where she's just kind of hanging, deciding what to do next. So I'm just counting on healing with this build to make up for whatever I do wrong, basically. Now here my goal was to do a Descending Dark and get some iframes and some damage on the radiance. That didn't work. So I ended up falling there a minute ago. But now here should be an opportunity for a heal. Yep. And I went ahead and got the other one there. You might say, like, oh, you should really wait until, you know, you shouldn't use the double heal for 1 health. I don't know, you tell me. Taking a lot of damage. I'm getting very nervous at this point, but yeah, that's the purpose of the build, right? Just heal whatever damage, and we will usually have plenty of soul. Because of Grub Song giving us some extra, and hopefully we can hit the radiance enough. We haven't hit her in a little while, which ain't good. A second ago you saw me also try to dodge some of those swords that were coming from left to right, and sometimes I'm trying to run one way and then quickly dodge the opposite way, and I just don't. I guess I barely probably hit the trigger before actually changing direction. That's what we saw a minute ago. That was a pretty good maneuver by me, I must say. Dodging those beams. Well, the strategy when Radiance is on top of me like she just was, and I don't know what she's going to do, my strategy is to Descending Dark, and then I can get some damage and also figure out what she's doing. And now we're all ready to the beam dodge section. So I pretty much do what people say to do here, which is as we get higher, she gets more and more on target, right? So I start like trying to bait out a beam off to the side and then dash inward to actually go where I want to go. Now, I also got a combination of unlucky and didn't play well a second ago and ended up jumping into a beam that was getting fired. Here I did a risky heal, but because of where I choked, I want to make sure that I get here with plenty of health. Also, my strategy, instead of what people usually say to do, which is pogo right here, just keep pogoing and leading the orbs to the top off the screen because they disappear, that doesn't really work for me. So instead, I'm just trying to get a hit when I can, and then dash between the platforms. When the orb spawns, if I dash to the other platform and then hop on top of it, usually the orb will hit the platform. And there it is, finally. Oh, and at this point I'm like, I got up out of my chair, I'm walking around and just shaking my fist in the air because it's finally done. Oh. So then I'm not quite sure, I'm not 100% sure what's happening here lore-wise. But I think we've actually gone to the real, like, Radiance and killed it. Like, it is dead at this point. I think the Knight has absolutely killed the Radiance beyond anything. The Radiance cannot possibly do anything else. Like, really, where it lives, we went there and killed it. And then I think the delicate flower keeps that void from coming out. I think it's contained within the Godseeker. Who knows what happens to the Godseeker? But yeah. But then there's no Radiance there, so like I guess the Hollow Knight isn't locked up anymore, right? So there he comes out to see Hornet, who's still outside the Black Egg Temple. Don't know what's going to happen there. Looks like they're going to fight. Of course, the video that you've now watched cannot possibly show you adequately how much grinding went into this. Oh my word. Not grinding experience in game, but grinding experience in real life, buddy. Grinding skill, grinding precision, grinding endurance in the mind. Oh, just what a feat. I am 27 years old, and I really started to feel during this like maybe I was past my prime a little bit. Shoo, I did wonder, like, if I was 14, would this be easier? I don't know. But I'm glad I accomplished this. This is one of my favorite and biggest gaming achievements, I think, is to have cleared the Pantheon of Hallownest. I'm never going to attempt it ever again. And yeah, so now all that's left is to get the those remaining trophies. So we're gonna have some cleanup, and then I think that'll be it. So we do not have much longer. I think we'll have one more episode of Hollow Knight here. So thank you for being here. Hope you enjoyed the Pantheon of Hallownest as narrated by me. And I'll see you in the next one, which might be the last one. Bye.